It's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the Gtech Community Stadium has just got underway. Chelsea trying to go forward, and inside the first 10 seconds they've given away a free kick as Jackson there just running into Nathan Collins, and Brentford take the free kick quickly. It's launched towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Chilwell under a little bit of pressure there from Rose left. Brentford pressing high up the field, but eventually Chelsea just about get the ball away from their own penalty area, and now all of a sudden Chelsea can go on the counter. It's a bright start here at the Gtech. Quick ball down the right hand side here towards Nicholas Jackson, being closed down there by Aya. He's got an overlap from Mallo Gusto, but that's a strong challenge coming in from Christian Norgard. Brentford just trying to get organised here in midfield, but it is a very quick start here in this West London derby. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and John Hogan taking the action. John, Brentford have had a string of good performances against Chelsea, but this season they have just fallen away, and it could be a long afternoon for Brentford.
It might be, but equally they might just have found a good time to play Chelsea. You know, they were disappointed, weren't they, last weekend? The game was there against Liverpool's youngsters, and they couldn't take advantage. They nearly were beaten in midweek by, albeit a reasonable lead team, still a Championship side. I think the thing about that was that they had a strong team out there, but they still looked at sixes and sevens. Pochettino doesn't know his best team, doesn't know his best formation, and it's like, we'll try something else this weekend. You know, they could end up having this being it. We're always going to play with wing backs from here and in. But it could also be a red hot mess today, and Brentford could take advantage. And if I was going to have a bet today, I think I'd be taking advantage of big prices on Brentford to sneak it something like 2-1. I think that's what I'd be looking at today.
Yeah, I think both teams are likely to get a goal here, just because Brentford will try and push forward as the home team, and generally speaking Brentford aren't particularly strong in defence, so Chelsea should find some gaps as well to exploit. So both teams with the three at the back this afternoon. Thiago Silva has been dropped for Chelsea as Cole Palmer tries an early ball to the edge of there. That wasn't a bad idea at all to try and pick out Nicholas Jackson. Good work there from Nathan Collins to put that out for a throw. And Chelsea now with the chance to try and build. It's been taken quickly. Mallo Gusto inside at the edge of the area. There's, at least three Chelsea players looking towards our referee, Djorde. There was potentially a free kick in favour of Chelsea. Then, seconds later, there may well have been a foul on Frank Onyeka, but our New Zealand referee decides there was no foul either way.
Yeah, well, I don't rate the referee. But let's take a look. Was he right here? Cole Palmer was caught, wasn't he? You know, he just got in too deep, Christopher Aya, and that for me is a foul and a free kick not given. And then after that, having let one foul go, he was almost like on a bound when Onyeka then he's tagged to let that one go. But two wrongs don't make a right, though, and he should have given the first free kick.
Well, they certainly don't, but we've seen over the past certainly few years of VAR that it does seem as though referees are trying to sort of direct the game in some way. There's been plenty of incidents where you feel as though VAR should say something, but it's almost like they don't want to put extra pressure on their mate out in the middle. But yeah, certainly Cole Palmer needed a minute there to pick himself up as well. He's a bit of a knock to the knee with that challenge with Christian Norgard. Just to remind you, it is Flecken in goal for Brentford. A back three of Jorgensen, Aya and Collins. The wide men are Rosleff and Sergio Reguilon. It's Onyeka, Norgard and Yano as the three in midfield, with Tony and Wissa up front for Chelsea. Petrovic in goal. They also go with the back three of Chalobah, Disasi and Colwill. Gusto and Chilwell were the two wide men, with Fernandez, Caicedo and Gallagher as the three in midfield, and it's Palmer and Jackson up front for the Blues. And it is Chelsea in possession down the left hand side. A flick on from Ben Chilwell, and his pass doesn't quite get through towards Jackson. Now Brentford pushing forward here as Tony leaves the ball here for Yoan Wissa, but there was an offside right at the start of that. And Tony already, even before the whistle went, I think he was already berating the linesman there, saying it wasn't him, but somebody obviously must have been offside.
Or not. Do you know what happened to let play go on and then we'll see. Maybe it was as clear as anything, but anyhow, we'll never know. We'll need to take another look at that, but it didn't look obvious to me, and it looked a great move from Brentford. It would be interesting to see how that was going to finish off.
Yeah, absolutely. And no early goals in the Premier League to tell you about, but there has been a couple of early goals in the Championship. Millwall leading against Watford, and Birmingham with an early lead against Southampton. Certainly be of interest to Leeds and Ipswich fans as well. Leeds with that 1-1 draw in their West Yorkshire derby earlier today away to Huddersfield Town. But back here in West London, it is Cole Palmer in possession for Chelsea on the halfway line, plays the ball over towards the right-hand side for Gallagher. He has support down the right-hand side from Gusto. And Chelsea edging closer towards the Brentford penalty area. The Bees sat quite deep. Although Chelsea now quite happy to play it back into midfield here for Caicedo and now for Levi Colwill. And you mentioned the final last weekend. Of course, it was Chelsea's for the taking, and you could see that. I mean, Pochettino admitted after the match that they were pretty much angling for penalties in extra time, which is a negative approach because really, as you said, Chelsea could have won that game quite easily.
Yeah, you feel, don't you, a missed opportunity. You're playing against Liverpool, who seem to have been shorn of all their big guns. They still got big players in there, obviously, like Van Dijk showed. But and then they sort of played their get out jail card. They were at Stamford Bridge, but I thought the second half got outplayed by Leeds United, and I thought they got dead lucky there. Really, I thought Leeds had opportunities to kill that game off. So. They've got good players, but they're clearly not settled down. They've got lots of good young players, but they can be up and down. Then the other thing, he's got this great big squad where if somebody plays poorly, then they're out. I thought Madueke actually played all right in midweek, and yet he's dropped. And for me, I think it's the right idea to get rid of Thiago Silva. With all due respect to him, I think he's been a great player who's bailed, bad defences out. But he's not a good systematic player. They need partnerships in this team. They haven't got them. But again, so it's another back three we're looking at that we've never seen before. How can they settle down? It's a different team every week.
Yeah, well, that's what Brentford will be trying to test if they can. Chelsea is certainly seeing more of the ball in these first 7 minutes. A bit of a frustrated look there from Enzo Fernandez as the pass went over his head. Brentford now with the throw. It's hoisted up in the air. Taken down by Ivan Toney. He's got Chilwell for company. Leaves it here for Roslev. It doesn't quite get through to Wissa. Second time it does with the help of Norgard. And now Toney trying an outside of the boot. Very elaborate pass there to pick out Christian Norgard. Had gone a bit further forward, but that pass is overhit. And it's into the arms of Djorde Petrovic, who I think started this season for Chelsea as their fourth choice.
Yeah, but he worked his way up, hasn't he?
Very quickly, yeah.
Yeah, he's done all right. But, again, who knows? There's a lot of sorting out, and that's it. You don't know who your best goalkeeper is, let alone, if you're going to play a back two, back three, wing backs, what you're going to do. Injuries then haven't helped. Last time I saw Chilwell, he was getting torn to bits by Neto. But he's playing wing back today. He should be all right.
He should be. I mean, he was getting wound up in that final as well. There were a couple of the Liverpool youngsters having a go at him, and he was really biting back. You could tell that he was having a long afternoon. But here come Chelsea now. A great move over the ball down the right-hand side now to pick up Palmer onto his left foot. Plays a ball in towards Fernandez, whose effort, I'm not sure if he was going for goal there. He certainly seemed to not get enough power behind it. He almost got through to Jackson, but there was Roslev at the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's out for a Chelsea corner. Yeah,
Enzo Fernandez there picking up space. Now he's inside the box, but that's clever. We haven't seen the best of him yet in a Chelsea shirt. Clearly he's a good player, and he picked up a great position there in the box. It's up to those Brentford midfield runners, to take a look and not be marking space. Clever run as it was from him. I think somebody's got to look at him.
Well, it's a short corner, then it's played back towards Enzo Fernandez, who then floats the ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was Axel Disasi that got his head onto that, but it's over the bar and away for a Brentford goal kick. We'll just see again from this replay as Fernandez puts this ball in. Disasi was actually being quite well marked there for a Brentford defence. They're not great at marking up from set pieces, but on this occasion, he couldn't really get a jump towards that one.
No, it's right. He did as well as he could there and just flicked it, but he was never going in that. Conor Gallagher was his spared Chelsea's blush in midweek, but he's been a bit of a clogger, I thought. And again, they don't seem to know whether they want him an offensive player or a holding player. I've noticed with Caicedo, he and Fernandez have been almost taking up the same positions when they've been defensive. They've been a real mess at times, and it's up to Brentford. Are they good enough to exploit that? I think they are. And it's great to see Ivan Toney back in the team and scoring goals, and more importantly, affecting the game because he's a very good player. But they need to get more ball to him.
They do. Brentford did have a throw right at the edge of the level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. And Norgard stepped up as he was going to launch it into the box, but it ended up going back towards the halfway line. Brentford still have possession, but it's a long way out from goal. Zanka now leaving this ball for Sergio Reguilon, who tries a deep angled cross towards the back post. And there is Ivan Toney going for goal. It's charged down just at the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's away for a corner kick. I don't know what Tony's complaining about here. Is he suggesting that perhaps there was an arm from Colwill?
Let's take a look when he comes in.
He's placed back to it, hasn't he?
Yeah, he stopped it from close range. He couldn't get out of the way of that. But he watched it right onto his boot there, Tony, when everybody else was just thinking, the ball somehow is going to evaporate and go away. Colwell was just wishing for, for that not to happen, and it's ended up that Chelsea have got a goal kick.
It's a double kiss. I think it's come back off Tony then, hasn't it, for a goal kick. Maybe that's why Tony was unhappy. He felt it should have still been a corner, but it's a long clearance there from Petrovic up towards Jackson. Tries to head it towards Gusto, but this is picked off now by Sergio Reguilon. Square to Christian Norgard. Drops his shoulder, gets away from Jackson, but the pass out wide towards Wissa is under hit. He makes up for that, Norgard, with a strong challenge in midfield, and this time it does reach Yoan Wissa, and he's off down the left-hand side. He's got an overlap as well, but he goes for goal himself, and it's not too close in the end. It looked as though he was really going to try and get some curl on that. He scored a decent goal, albeit it was nothing more than a consolation away to West Ham on the Monday night, but this wasn't particularly good from Wissa in the end.
Yeah, but you know what? Why not? You know, he's held up initially by Disasi, and then Disasi runs away from him. You think, well, hang on, mate, you haven't quite done your job yet. And then everything melts away from him. It's a free hit. You know, Son just pokes its head out there, and you just think, all right, a lovely day, I'll have a go. He wasn't too far away.
So certainly Yoan Wissa getting a rare start. It has been Neil Mopai who's been getting starts for Brentford over the past couple of months. Of course, Wissa was away with the African Cup of Nations with the Congo team. And in the meantime, Mopai picked up a bit of form and scored a few goals. But it is Yoan Wissa getting the start today. A long ball play towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. I tell you what, Petrovic was clearly out of the box when he saved that.
His feet were out of the box when he saved the ball.
He was, and the linesman's on that near side as well. I can forgive the referee, although the referee probably should see it anyway, but the linesman definitely should see it. We play on, though, now with Conor Gallagher in possession for Chelsea down the right-hand side. Back towards Palmer.
Well, I don't know what to make of that. Surely VAR, though. Right, if I mitigate for the referee and his assistant, they don't have the view that we just saw. You know, the foreshortening. I mean, to the man on the near side with the flag, it's like, can he really tell when he stood over the line? To us, you know, from the camera angle we got,
it was obvious.
Then he's clearly, you know, he's not even close to that line. He stood well over it when he caught the ball. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's one of those, though. There's been enough passes now that they would argue this a new sequence. So even if Chelsea were to score at this point, it wouldn't make any difference. As I say, it's one of them that the officials really perhaps could have done with a little bit of extra help. As Colwell now steps forward for Chelsea, it's Fernandes over to Chilwell down the left-hand side. Back to Levi Colwell.
Well, if he doesn't go out and catch that, we'll just break off because here comes Chelsea into back to the Porto. If the keeper doesn't come out, right, to catch that ball, what's he doing? Then he's in for a challenge. Then he could get beaten. But the camera lingers on Petrovic, and for a reason now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see a replay now. I mean, there's a little bit of shade where the linesman is compared to where the edge of the box is. But, I mean, Petrovic, both of his entire body, both of his feet, and the way he holds the ball in the box like it matters, doesn't matter at all. If that was a goal, of course, he would get away with it because his body could be over the line, but the ball can't be. But in terms of...
I thought everything was over the line there. Feet, ball and all.
I mean, he's got away with one, and Tony quite rightly asking the official there why that wasn't spotted. But Brentford now pushing forward. Tony at the edge of the area, brought down. No free kick, but Onyeka finds Roslev down the right-hand side. He's been blocked here by Chilwell. Going back towards Zanka Jorgensen. Not famous for his crosses. Leaves it here for Roslev again down the right-hand side. Still being hassled here by Ben Chilwell. Back to Zanka Jorgensen again, and eventually Brentford had enough time to get that ball into the box, just lingering with it. Now there's a free kick given in favour of Brentford for a challenge there from Ben Chilwell.
Well, they got lucky there, the Bees, because they didn't know what they were doing. You know, use the ball or don't use the ball. Take it on, try and roll around the back, do something. Didn't do anything there. Ruslev, I thought, did well to keep the ball alive. Then if he's looking for an overlap, he's waiting all day, isn't he? And then they couldn't get the ball away. But Chilwell's bailed him out there. It is a free kick. Chance to load up the box, and who knows?
Well, it's going to be Sergio Reguilon. He's a left footer playing on the right-hand side. Just to tell, we have got our first goal in the Premier League this afternoon. It has come at St James's, where Alexander Isak has put Newcastle 1-0 up against Wolves. All the Premier League games are available on this service, as well as the 5:30 game between Luton and Aston Villa. Chelsea have set up just at the edge of the penalty area with the offside. Pretty much everyone huddled inside the D, just outside the Chelsea penalty area. And it's going to be an in-swinging ball here from Sergio Reguilon. Puts a lot of height on it, aiming for Collins. Everyone with their arm up saying it should be our ball, and in the end, it has been given as a goal kick.
Yeah, bodies down there. I think Disasi underneath Zanka at the end of that. Sun shining, which is quite nice to see. Long shadows, though. for this 3 o'clock start. There were no early games in the Premier League today. It's weird, really. Lots of 3 o'clocks for a change. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway.
It's almost like we're not used to it anymore, isn't it? Having this many games kicking off at 3, but of course, with European football to come, a couple of English sides I think are involved on the Thursday, so that might just make things a little bit different next weekend. But here, 16 minutes gone. Chelsea now on the attack. Ball down the right-hand side for Jackson. Good stop there from Collins and a challenge there from Sergio Reguilon. There's a Chelsea player down. Play on, says the referee. But the pass there from Gallagher doesn't quite get through to its target. And so Brentford now back in possession here with Mads Roersleff, a long ball up towards the halfway line. Tony chested down. It wasn't controlled particularly well though by Onyeka. And now Disasi under pressure plays it over towards the right hand side there for Mallo Gusto. He does well there just to make sure the last touch is off a Brentford player. Chelsea now with the throw. Hasn't really bedded down this game yet. Chelsea arguably seeing a little bit more of the ball in sort of controlled possession, but not really doing too much with it.
No, it's right. Like I said, they've got very good players, but they're always in formations where they're feeling their way. Who's going to come short? What triangle am I looking for? Who am I protecting? Who's going to help me out? It's all those things, isn't it? But they've got good enough individuals to play one-out football and somehow make it stick. And clearly, they haven't gone in there without a plan or a hope, have they? I'm sure Pochettino's a very good coach, and we know he is. But like I said, he's just struggling to find a way forward with his team. It's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, isn't it? Almost all the time.
Well, it has been. It's been a strange one for Chelsea this season because every time they seem to play 3 or 4 very good games, they just sort of tail off. They had that win against Fulham in mid-January. Then they absolutely hammered Borough in the second leg, having lost the first leg. And then there was that draw away to Villa, followed by the defeats away to Liverpool and at home to Wolves. But then after that, they won the 2 games on the trot, 3-1 away to Villa, then away to Palace. Then they had a very good draw away to Manchester City before that defeat against Liverpool last Sunday. So you could say they have turned more of a corner than they had done, say, 2 or 3 months ago when they were probably losing 3 out of every 5 games.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, you thought it was going to turn around at some point. But it just doesn't turn around quickly enough. It's all right thinking, these young lads are going to get better. But how much better are they going to get? Because what they expect is a team that's challenging right at the very top.
Well, the money they've spent, that would be the case. But there's suddenly a ball just gets through here, and there's going to be an offside. I thought there was a case that Fernandes had just strayed offside. He wasn't the intended recipient of that ball. Chelsea were pushing forward with Nicholas Jackson. And as they were doing so, he got challenged at the edge of the area. The ball deflected off him, and Fernandes, who'd wandered forward, was just in an offside position.
Yeah, I mean, so for Chelsea, I think the brief is that you've got to be, Champions League. That the amount of money spent, but we'll break off here. Come Chelsea.
Sergio Reguilon's been dispossessed, and there was a chance down the right-hand side there for Mallo Gusto. His pass towards the edge of the area, though, wasn't quite right, and it's out for another throw.
So he finds himself, Pochettino, in the same boat as an Eddie Howe, really. That much money is spent not for you to be comfortable mid-table or in the top 10. You've got to be playing in pretty much Champions League, or otherwise, why have we spent so much money? And a lot of money has been spent.
Really has, and as you say, hasn't really been able to get his best 11. There have been a few injuries, of course, but it's the glaring omission of a striker, really, for all the wingers and other forward players that Chelsea have signed. They're enjoying a bit of possession now in the Brentford half, but still quite away from the box itself as Enzo Fernandez now back towards Colwill on the halfway line. Disasi into Caicedo. His pass gets through towards Cole Palmer, who was in an offside position. So Chelsea a couple of times there inside a couple of minutes, giving Brentford free possession there, really. When Brentford had their free kick after the last offside, they gave the ball away almost immediately. This time they've taken a long free kick here with Collins launching it down the right-hand side. Chasing this one all the way to the line is Mads Roersleff, but Chilwell gets there first, plays it up towards back towards the halfway line, where it's hoisted up in the air here by Zanka Jorgensen. Bit of long ball there from Jorgensen, really, dealt with by Levi Colwill at the edge of the box. Norgard does well to keep the ball alive here for Brentford. He exchanges the passes with Roersleff and then goes towards Wissa. It's with Frank Onyeka now. Good strong challenge there from Caicedo. But Brentford still have it down the right-hand side as Chilwell stops Mads Roersleff. Out for a throw to the Bees, and Norgard, to say, he was limbering up for a long throw last time. It never actually happened. I wonder if this time he might actually try and launch it into the box.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like I said, if this three don't know what they're doing, then you need to test that out. who's going to go for the ball, who sits in behind, all those kind of things. They don't know what they're doing. You've got to put them under pressure. We're going to see that long throw.
It is. It's launched long here by Norgard towards the edge of the 6-yard box, flicked on, but it was just, may have actually come off a Chelsea head after all of that. Petrovic with the easiest save, and then he bowls it out quickly as well here to try and get Chelsea on the run down the right-hand side, but that's good covering. They're back on the halfway line, Frank Onyeka. Arguably Brentford learning their lesson after that. One of the goals they conceded against Liverpool in the last time game was quite ridiculous, where they had a free kick and somehow all of a sudden it was 2 Liverpool players against 1 Brentford defender, and no surprise that Darwin Nunez was able to complete the job from there.
I think this opening's been fairly even. Chelsea have had a bit of the ball set away from home. I think you could argue they've been slightly the better, but there's not much in it. And I still think Ivan Toney running between the lines can, find a gap, if only they can find him. It always astounds me that, particularly at home, that Damsgaard can't get a game. And I'd be starting him every time.
Well, I mean, it's been a bit of a mystery for quite a few Brentford fans as to why Damsgaard always seems to get left out, and then he gets a couple of games, and it seems like he has to be better than all the other Brentford midfielders, because as soon as he has a bad game, he's back on the bench again.
See, the thing is, he can't give the ball away and all that. But when you watch him, you think at least he's trying to do something.
It's I mean, you're absolutely right. The three central midfielders is very workmanlike. It's more sort of 3 defensive midfielders in there for Brentford with not too much creativity.
I mean, and he works hard as well, Damsgaard. He's not like he's ornamental or anything.
No, as I say, but he's just never really had that run in the team. He's never really had more than sort of 4 or 5 games straight playing for Brentford from the start. And even that, I think, is probably a stretch. But the ball now played back towards Petrovic. Closed down there by Wissa. Just about gets the ball away to Disasi. Mallo Gusto with his back to Sergio Reguilon, able to turn away, and now Gallagher does well to find Palmer, and it's a chance now for Chelsea to push down the right-hand side. Here is Jackson getting towards the edge of the area, still Nicholas Jackson, nobody closing him down, eventually runs straight into Nathan Collins, and after that deflection, Flecken is out to make the save, but that was better from Chelsea.
Yeah, again, just at the final pass, that kind of thing. Jackson, lovely little step, and
oh, he's actually, I didn't see that then until we've seen the replay. He actually was trod on the ball.
He stepped over and then the ball hit him on the heel, which is unfortunate, really, because I think that first shift of weight was quite good, but he couldn't make it stick. When we look at their bench today, well, it would have been a good team a while back, wouldn't it, with Raheem Sterling and Thiago Silva in it. Mark Cucurella, his fortunes seem to have gone backwards, haven't they, as well, but... Anyway, they've got good substitutes to bring on. Madueke, I thought, played all right in midweek, and Mikhailo Mudryk, he scored a goal. I thought he played quite well again against Leeds in the FA Cup, but yeah, I think they've thrown a little bit of money at it.
Well, here come Brentford, though. A ball down the right-hand side to Tony. There was no offside. Wissa then goes for the near post, and the angles were always against Yoan Wissa there. I mean, for a start, he would have struggled to get it on target because he was shooting from sort of on an angle in front of that near post. In addition to that, the goalkeeper was there as well. But again, it's quick play here from Brentford. Tony trying to pick out his teammate with a pass along the deck, and Wissa trying a quick shot. We're over the halfway mark, coming up to 24 minutes gone here at the Gtech. It is Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. It will be John to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, the angle was never on there for Yoan Wissa, but it's a great cutback from Tony, and I felt there was a man running in behind him. It might have been the captain, and if he could just sort of touch it back and do something a bit more clever than just jam it in at the near post, then it might have yielded an effort on target. Tony's very bright, isn't he? I really do enjoy watching him. He's only just scraping 6 foot, but he leaps like a salmon, and I always think he looks like he's taller than that. He holds the ball well. He's very inventive. Obviously, his penalties are pretty good. He's just a very good player, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's almost like a forward who also is a very good striker, if you understand the difference. That he can play that little bit deeper. He gets assists as well. And as I say, doesn't necessarily always have to be in that out-and-out number 9 spot. Just say very quickly that Fulham are up against Brighton at Craven Cottage, and it's Harry Wilson with the goal for the Cottagers.
Yeah, so... just in Southampton have got one back, haven't they, against Birmingham. Anyway, long ball out from the back here from Flecken. Oh, it's an opportunity, and a bicycle kick there from Wissa, was it? Well, he's very athletic, isn't he? And it's not a bad effort from the Frenchman. I know he's a Congolese international, isn't he? But if that flies in, we're raving, aren't we? It's a good effort.
It is, yeah. I mean, he timed it well. You often see players thinking about the overhead kick, but having to worry about opposition players getting in the way, or perhaps just not having the right angle there. Everything was in Wissa's favour, but he hits it straight at the keeper.
So last time I did Brentford, I said boldly that Mark Flecken was the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. And in that game, he must have made about 10 saves in the first half, and he was superb. I can't remember which game
Would it have been Manchester City, maybe?
Could have been, yeah.
I mean, he was man of the match for Brentford in that game, even though they conceded 4, which is saying something. But obviously, the actual man of the match would have been Foden for his hat trick in that game. But yeah, he has made certainly an improvement in the last few games for Brentford. I think the issue is that there's still a few too many individual errors in the keeper. And every player, every goalkeeper has individual errors in them, but it just seems that Fleck has had a few too many of them for the start of his Brentford career. And the fact that he's just not as good on the ball as Raya was means that you really notice the fact that he's in goal now for Brentford. Disasi
now, it's driving forward. Here come Chelsea. Cole Palmer flicks the ball the outstep. Too easily defended that, and they've done well there to clear their lines. But again, the ball keeps coming back. Chelsea beginning to dominate a little bit more now. Here is Fernando.